Welcome back to Draft Central. We're going to take a look at things connected to the draft as far as the Philadelphia Eagles goes. Today, obviously, it's day one, and the big thing is the interviews for the coaches and here at the GM as well. We're going to dive into the morsels of information we're going to get from them because we're not going to get too much. Those guys are too tight-lipped. But there are some insights that we can see into, as well as get to some things related to semi-related free agency and the draft, and circling back around to the draft again. What's up, it's your boy Cintron coming back at you with another analysis video that kid you not, that's my real name. First up here, Sirianni talks Kellen Moore and more at the NFL Combine. Come on now, you can edit that out. All right. Anyways, let's see. On Jalen Hurts and his leadership, which is followed, come into question when we were up in 2022, people weren't talking about his stoicism on the sidelines looking like this. His face has never changed, whether we were losing or not. And you wanted him to be someone that he's not and be vocal. Guys will see right through that in an instant, and they're not going to, stick by someone who's fake. He's being his authentic self. He'll come out of his shell a little bit more, but the organization is not going to wholesale push. The media is such a monster. They're pushing for these narratives all the while trying to get clicks, likes, dollars, cents. But then they'll be the same people to criticize someone for changing. Oh, well, Jalen Hurts is a fake now. Like, isn't this what you push for? So it's just, the whole snake trying to eat itself type deal. All right, Nick said everybody has to lead their way, and Jalen Hurts has special qualities that people will follow and that people will want to follow. And he needs to do what he needs to do to lead in that way. Yeah, I mean, essentially, yeah. He's a guy that leads by example. He's going to put in the work. He's going to be behind the scenes, put in extra hours, the film time, working with his receivers in the offseason, putting together those informal camps. We know that's the guy that we got, whether he had $255 million in his bank account or $5 billion. So that's unquestioned. I mean, people, like I said, wanting to doubt at this point. You've been wanting to doubt for the past 3 years, haven't you? You're just now coming out and saying it now that, we're down. Fair weather people. Hate those kind of fans. They're just annoying as hell. All right, into more insight. Like you said, we already have leaders on the team. And AJ, I didn't know that, but, he's a guy holding a lot of guys accountable. And it's the way, again, the media, they crop clips to, him yelling. He might just be motivating, or he might just be, taking account for his own mistakes, or talking about something completely unrelated. We have no fucking idea, but the speculation is the reason that gets us in trouble, because we assume it makes an ass out of us. So he was later asked about Hurts' development as a quarterback. Let's see. Here's what I know about Jalen. Whatever we see that he needs to work on, or whatever he sees that he needs to work on, he's going to get better at that because he puts everything he has into it. And that's a form of leadership too, exactly what I was just saying. But yeah, the guy holds back nothing. He's going to give you 120% of what he's got each and every day, which is why, I could understand him being frustrated on the sideline, because he felt like we weren't doing all that we need to do. And yeah, he came out and said that, during the press conference, and of course he was mostly pointing the finger at himself, but that extends to the other guys who, guys know. I mean, unless you're really self-deceived, that you're not, giving it your all. You're not where you need to be. So, and some of those guys will be gone this offseason, but I hope we can weed out some of those malcontents from the locker room. Especially these guys doing anonymous. I hate anonymous reports. Put your fucking name on it, man. Stand up and be a man and talk about this shit instead of hiding behind the anonymity. All right, on Kellen Moore's scheme. I hired Kellen because I thought he was the best guy for the job, and Kellen's been successful in every place that he's been. I know he's relatively young, but he's been successful as a player in college. Yeah, I mean, it's a great accomplishment to play in the league in general, but he's been successful as a coach, which is why he was able to, have that success, because he saw the picture, even while he was limited in his abilities, physical abilities. But He had the computing power. And so I like the way he thinks about football, the way he takes everything in and is able to make decisions off of that. Hey, we're looking at the blitz, hot reads, things of that nature, adjustments. So it's been fun getting to know him. Obviously, I've always had respect for him from afar, and it's been fun getting to know him and work through those things together to build our offense for next season. We'll get into more of that later, but we're hoping it's more of him and less of you, being honest. On playing young guys. So he stated that his philosophy has always been to play the best guys, who are going to get the job done, best man for the job. I agree with that, whether he's younger or old, but pressure from upstairs and then, contracts and such are going to make you, skew to one direction or another, because there's some, there's no reason that some guys, shouldn't have gotten playing time, or, other guys were playing ahead of them. Just missed assessments, and you put that on everybody, scouting and the coaches, but especially the direct head coach, who should have, most of the final say on who plays or who doesn't. All right, he's wanting Hassan Reddick to be back, but has less to do with that. He coaches him or manages him, CEOs him, whatever, but he'll deal with the talent they give him. He has some say, as in, hey, I want this guy, I want that guy, and it'll be taken into consideration. But yeah, that's in the GM's hands. And let's see. Regarding the running back room and so many free agents, Sirianni said that they've done well in the run game the past 3 seasons, each year with different pieces. But it's still attached to guys, okay, see how things play out. But that is a little insight that lets you know that they're fine piecemealing it. And I mean, I would say it's skewing less towards, Swift being back, because we'll see what Howie has to say on that. But I'm like, come on. I mean, a lot of these things we're trying to parse through all the, the chaff, in the, the weeds and chaff that they're giving us, because they're not going to come out and give you their strategy, but they have to say something. So they might as well say it without, minds placed. They have to walk through the minefield and place them carefully, because they don't want to, self-implode. All right, Howie Roseman admits some young Eagles, like Nolan Smith, should have played more in 2023. And let's see what else he had to say. On Hassan Reddick, I'll say this: Hassan Reddick, obviously unbelievable player. Love him, local kid, success story. Yeah, we get that. You're glazing him right now, but he didn't want to get into specifics, but allowing him to seek a trade, and just being fair to the player, but at the same time, it's kind of this disingenuous, it's hidden behind the veil that you're also getting a look at the market, but also putting a spin on it that it makes you look good as a front office personnel. Because hey, the player, I mean, he's amenable to to be staying here, but hey, what you want from him? What you want for him? What will you take for him? So they get to suss out the market and kind of see what their options are without it kind of being a PR nightmare, or we're trading this guy because A, B, C, and D. He also noted that the best case scenario is one in which there's honest communication from both sides, and this is the case with all their contract situations. But honest communication behind closed doors has definitely been, hey, we'll if we get the right piece, we'll move on from you. But if we can work out a deal, numbers that are minimal to you, minimal to us, willing to do that, because I at least he doesn't have I would say the hardball line stance that, hey, you're gonna play, you sign this contract, you're gonna play under this final year, whatever, because that sets not just a bad precedent, bad relationship with him and his agent, who might have dealings with other players on the team or other players that you want to deal with in the future, but it sets a bad precedent for players in their negotiations, moving forward. Like, well, this guy, why would I want to stay here and deal with him, because he's not willing to be flexible, not willing to work with us. So it's not just all about the immediate, as far as just that player per se. It's about the ramifications of fallout. QB evaluations I'm not gonna ignore because like I said, he's got the hot dog placed firmly in his mouth right now. So draft strategies, you're not gonna get. He's gonna sell you on this and then do this. So, I mean, like, why would you openly talk about those kind of things? On playing young players, he talked about having a desire to do so you get a sense of their abilities, and definitely you want to get that assessment and get your money's worth. Don't want to let a guy sit and then never. You wasted pretty much a pick. Take advantage of this time you bought yourself. But like Andre Dillard, we didn't get a huge look at him, but it was enough to get us a compensatory pick. But we, if it wasn't for Jordan Mailata, we would have gotten. We definitely would have felt robbed with that pick. Would have gotten the worst end of the deal. But yeah, he saved us. Let's see. Roseman acknowledged that some of the older guys start deserving bigger contracts. They'll be shifting towards utilizing a younger roster, and this just comes in, into play with. You have your franchise quarterback now. He's on the second deal, which is the deal that he negotiated after the rookie contract. It's exorbitant. That's what that comes with the territory. So now we got to work around that, signing contracts that benefit us long term, trying to get guys to sign deals earlier so you can get them at a cheaper rate. I mean, it's just until you have to reset that process. That's going to be the way it works. Like Pat Mahomes, he signed a big deal that would become cheaper but reasonable over the long term, and you play the long game, both as a player and the management executive branch. Let's see. Definitely not letting. Okay, I thought it was a different Smith. So I mean, I disagree with the statement. Of course, he should have gotten more playing time. That's on the coach to develop a way to use him that doesn't cause him to be a liability out there, and he was when he was out there. So, and you can't just mitigate that with playing time because you can see it didn't get better as the season went along. I would say incrementally, maybe 3 to 5%. And that was with a different coach anyway. So I think he has to hit the ground running this offseason. Nolan Smith does, but we'll see. But definitely he's the 30th overall pick in the first round. So the clock is ticking, and we got to get value out of this guy. Otherwise, it'd just be a wasted pick. So like Andre Dillard. On veteran players, Jason Kelsey and Fletcher Cox have they've earned that right to decide when to hang it up, and been able to buy themselves some leeway as far as making a decision. But yeah, it's got to be made, and it isn't infinite, but more amenable to bringing those guys back because they're just such great leadership pieces, and yeah, they do have the requisite talent. Kelsey does, but still Fletcher is more so on the decline, but he still provides some value. But for me, it's more about the price tags, but we have to pay that anyways because those voided years that are written into those contracts, we're gonna have to eat that sometime or later. And when asked about Bradbury, he said really quickly before he got out of there, yeah, he's under contract, he's part of our plan. And not which part of the plan, because again, sleight of hand, he could be a post you want cut. I know we don't want to do him like the Giants did him and cut him late in the free agency and not give him a fair shake at the market, but nobody's beating on that door for James Bradbury. Let's be honest. He could be traded, sure, but I just don't think that there's a way that we get a good a non-regrettable deal for him. I'll say that. I mean, just a deal worth it. Anyways, there's a couple other things that he said that are of note. The running back room. Roseman explained that guys will still get big money at the running back position, and it will be a valuable roster spot for teams. yeah, big money in his definition. They're not getting the money that they're seeking, which is, the root cause of the problem, that they feel like they're being undervalued. And I don't know how you solve that. I know there's some some different approaches. Floated suggestion letting running backs come into the league earlier. Even then, they're still gonna designate a new age where it's cut off. But it is a concern that it's been devalued to that point because they use and abuse these guys. It's not like they're not there. It's still a position in one of the two ways that you move the ball forward. You either pass or you run, and running is still a pretty big chunk, at the very least, like 40% of a team's attack on the average, and that's a low end, but a low end estimate. But yeah, it's a valuable roster spot. Yeah, the team still value, but they don't really value, which is why we're having this big consternation right now. And the last thing, he ain't letting Devonta Smith go nowhere, so we'll see him in Eagles green for the foreseeable future, however long that is. But it starts with that 50-year option, which is at $15 million, and then goes from there, which can be added on to his contract. The years would start with that and then build off of that. So anyways, let's get into some other stuff. So report Eagles players recruiting cornerback L'Jarius Sneed. Let's just nip this in the bud real quick. He ain't coming here. I've been saying in other videos, people, I don't have an audience really anyway, so, but there's no way KC was letting him go. It was a fool's errand to even entertain it. People clickbaiting, putting this in there, picks. You fell for the okie doke. Come on now. But I don't know. The average fan is kind of disappointing me with their intelligence level. Anyways, next, some boom or bust candidates for the free agency market. So we know Jerry Sneed would not be, but here are 15 guys that, man, they either hitting or they ain't. Baker Mayfield, let's ignore that because he ain't coming in for backup money, and I'm not even sure I would want him as backup, even though he used to be at OU with, not with Jalen Hurts, but, he preceded him by a couple of years. Gabe Davis, yeah, man, he's such a tease. 7 TDs, I think the past 2 seasons, topped out at 800 yards, but yeah, look at that. Career average of 16.7 yards per reception, but he just, after that 200-yard game in 4 TD game, golly, in the divisional playoffs, I think against the Chiefs, which got them to change the rules overtime, coincidentally. He just hasn't been able to be stable. He's shown you moments, but never the whole thing. All right, Calvin Ridley, just tease, and he's 29. He's already 29 years old. Went through a season. Take care of your mental health. He took missed the 12 games of the 2021 season, but yeah, I think he's worth more to Jacksonville than anybody else. And we already have 1.2. We don't need 1.5. So Derrick Henry, 30. I hate to say, the amount of carries he has on his resume. Too many bodies. J.K. Dobbins, younger than Henry, but the injury history. A low-end deal, low priority. Yeah, but I'm not counting on this guy. Tony Pollard, same deal. And he wants more money than the guy above him. No thanks. Mekhi Becton, we're not in the market. Trent Brown, we're not in the market. And those guys will cost more than we need to spend on that auxiliary piece. Chase Young, another tease. And it just doesn't have the mentality for me. The player, he couldn't play like he did in Washington. And he's dealt with some injuries as well. And he's going to be more expensive than potentially what you're going to get in production. You don't even know what you're going to get, for sure. This guy, if he put in half the work as the same amount, if he put in half of the amount of work that matches his talent level, might be talking about a great player. But he's a great run defender, but he has the measurables in numbers, the explosiveness of a Myles Garrett, but nowhere near that production. Reader, he's like a 3-4 in. I'm like, nah, I'm good on that. And he's old. Devin White. Production, I think matches, the pay scale, but just way too expensive. If I'm gonna pay that money, I might as well go ahead and get the best thing, not the next best thing. Old. And I'm gonna have I might as well pay Burntberry, which I ain't, so. Kenny Moore, hey man, he's a slot. I'm not paying those numbers for a slot, and we have some potential candidates, and we should draft a guy. He's 29 too, so. And yeah, this guy just hasn't been the same since since those All-Pro years. And I don't want to go with a retread, scrap heap, junk bin, Walmart bargain box DVD sale. No. All right. So, anyways, last thing up here is just a quick mock draft, because I'm like, let's just throw that out there. Like, I'll just jump to the pick they have us going with. I'm like, Quinyon Mitchell. There's no way. I'll be honest. There's no way he slips that far to 22, because I'm like, they could go, but that is a bigger need for them. They could, but they just drafted a guy last year, and that would solve, patch up a huge piece of their line and allow them to start to build towards that stability. Explosive guy. I mean, they could use help at a lot of different places, so they could draft him too, though. They could as well, but beefing up that line more of a priority. I don't see them going Nate Wiggins over him, so that'd be the problem. I would take Nate Wiggins as well, but just no way. They don't need him. We just went with the corner. They go with him over the guy. Like, I'd take Terry on over him as well. But for me, they're 1A and 1B, man. And any higher than that, it's like, that would be a surprise. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised with them taking they low height weight speed ratio guys, coined by their former owner, Al Davis. And yeah, I mean, they could pair him with a good cornerback in Marshawn Lattimore, but there's no way he makes it there. But a man can dream, can he? Anyways, we're gonna get about it here on that note, but you're not even watching, no, but it's all good, because I love talking about the Eagles and I love making these videos. So we're gonna chunk the deuces, but as always, it's fly Eagles fly, and let's motherfucking go. Like, comment, share, subscribe if you want. Thanks for watching. Check me out at Cintron Anime, Cintron Life, or Cintron Laughs, or other social media.